Yes, hi everyone. Welcome to our today's session. My name is Isa Ngui. So I am a Microsoft Cisco CompTIA IBM instructor, and I'm also lecturing in different universities. Today we are going to talk about a new lesson. Remember, guys, remember to register. You can contact me using my WhatsApp number or my email address below. What you need to do, you need only to send to me your WhatsApp number or maybe your email address and your full details. So you send to me your name, your surname, and your email address in order to be registered. So you are going to get a registration email, and you need to follow instructions on that particular email, right? So I know that most of you guys, you are preparing for your CCNA, CCNP, and you need to watch these lessons. These lessons are very, very important for you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share my screen and we can start without wasting our time. Screen. So today we are going to talk about show IP interface brief. So we are going to see how to check, how to verify the status of interface, how to check for IP addresses, and how to do troubleshooting. So today we are going to talk about show IP interface brief. Let me try to stop sharing. So guys, remember we are dealing with Cisco devices. We are dealing with routers, switches, wireless access points, and so on. All right. Now, you as a specialist, most of the time you need to understand if your device works, right? You need to check status of your routers, status of your switches. You want to understand if your device works, right? Or not only to understand so if the device works, you can also try to understand if that particular device has an IP address. What are the IP addresses that are assigned to those ports, right? Not only IP addresses, there are so many things you're gonna try to understand, like the computers that are connected to that particular device. So to summarize, guys, today's lesson, I'm going to explain how you guys you are going to understand if your switch, your router works, if your switch has an IP address, if computers, printers, cameras connected to that particular switch works or maybe has or have IP addresses, right? So what I'm gonna do, guys, let me first uh, share again my screen. So what we're gonna do, guys, here, we are going to drag and drop maybe just that two computers here, and we're gonna have maybe a switch. This is a 2960 series, so it's a switch. We call it a 2960. We're gonna connect. We're gonna run like our cables. So I'm gonna use like any ports, right? For now. Yes. Now, those are the two computers. Those two computers are connected to this particular switch. Now, you try to understand if this particular switch works, right? You as a specialist, you wanna know if this particular switch works. Number one. Number two, you wanna know what are the IP addresses that are given to those two ports, this port and this port, right? So you want to understand so if this particular switch works and if those two ports got IP addresses, you want to understand also so if those two ports are off or on, right? So what we're gonna do, guys, you just click there, you go to CLI, you press enter, right? Enable, right? Now we're gonna type show IP interface brief, right? So this comment will allow us to know, number one, if this particular switch works. Number two, we are going to know if ports are on or off. Remember, your switch will have ports or your router will have ports. Those ports sometimes can be off or on. How to know if those ports are on or off? Because sometimes people cannot be connected because maybe the ports are off, right? How to know? And number three, you will try to understand also if those ports got IP addresses, right? Now you're gonna press enter. Now look at this, right? So those are the information that are coming from the database of the switch. That particular database, we call it content addressable memory, CAM, right? So a switch has a memory, that memory, or like a switch has a database, that particular database, we call it content addressable memory, CAM. So this is where we are trying to get those information. So you type show IP interface brief. You can see 6 columns. There's the first column, the interface column, there's the IP address column, there's the OK column, there's the method column, there is the status column, and there is the protocol column. So when you type this comment, show IP interface brief, you will get 6 columns. Those columns, the first one is the interface, the second one is the IP address, the third one is the OK, the fourth one is the method, the fifth one is the status, and the last one is the protocol. Now, guys, you need to be able to interpret whatever that is coming from the database, whatever that is coming from the show IP interface brief, right? This is how you improve your skills. This is how you become an expert. This is how you become an IT specialist or a network engineer specialist, right? So now, the first column, the interface column, right? This column will show you the name of each port, the name of each interface, right? So the first column, the interface, so this is where you will know the interface name, the name of each port. Like this one, it's fast Ethernet 0/1, right? Because if you don't know the name of each port, how are you gonna talk to that port? If I don't know your name, how am I gonna talk to you, right? So routers, switches have ports. Those ports will have names. So we need to know how to identify those names. Let's say my printer is connected to the switch or to the router. So I cannot print. Maybe the printer is not working. How will I know? You can try to investigate in which port that particular printer is connected. This is why it's very important to know how to know the names of ports, right? So show IP interface brief will show you the port name. Those are the port names, so you can see them here. Second column is the IP address, right? So the second column of the show IP interface brief will show you the IP address of those ports. So if this port fast Ethernet 0/1 has an IP address, you will see it here. But unassigned means there is no IP address given to this port, right? So you as a specialist, you wanna know what is an IP address given to this port, right? From your switch, from your router. Just type show IP interface brief. Go to the second column, you check. You look at the port and you look at the IP address. So if it says like unassigned, means there is no IP address. Maybe that's why that computer is not connected to the network, right? Now the third column, like it's the OK. This column tells you if the device works properly. If it's not working, you will see there it says no, right? So this column will tell you if the device is faulty or not. Now the fourth column is the method. The method will allow you to understand how this port got an IP address, right? So the IP address was given manually or automatically or dynamically, right? Or DHCP. Sometimes here, so it's gonna show dynamic or DHCP means this IP address here was given manually means somebody like type it, somebody put it manually. Dynamically or automatically means that like in your network, there is a certain devices, there is a router somewhere, there is a server somewhere who gave to that port this IP automatically, right? So you as an expert from here, you'll understand that no, this IP here was given manually by someone, by an administrator, by the engineer, right? And now look at here, right? This port here, remember, we are dealing with what? We are dealing with switches. So that why it's just a manual, right? Because switches, most ports don't use IP addresses. That why it says just manual by default. Now here, guys, the column number 5, this is the status, right? The status we are talking about here, we are talking about the status of the ports, right? You can see here, it's up, up. Why is it up? Because this port, we plugged a computer here on this particular port, right? Like even here, remember, we plugged, that why it's showing up. So this is the physical connectivity, guys. So it's showing down here because this port, there's nothing connected to it. There is no computer, there is no cable or no device connected to it. That's why it's showing down, down. But this one is showing up because we plugged a computer there. This one is showing up because we plugged the computer there. You can see here. We plugged here, we plugged here. That's why it's showing up because we plugged the computer here, we plugged another computer here, right? So remember, guys, the column number 5 will show you if a computer or a printer or a camera is plugged to that particular port, right? But sometimes also maybe the cabling is wrong. The cabling from the switch to the computer is wrong. That's why it's showing down. You can use a wrong cable. That why maybe it can be shown down. So there are only 3 scenarios. So that port is not used. That why it's down. The cabling is wrong. Or maybe the PC or the printer or the camera connected to the switch is not working. It's faulty also, right? So our status is the physical connectivity, right? So you as an expert, when you are trying to understand, you go to the server room, you go to the switch, you type show IP interface brief, you see like next to a port where it says status, it means down. Like automatically you will know like no, there is nothing that is connected to it, to this port, or the cabling is wrong, or maybe the device or the computer connected to this port is a problem, right? So for troubleshooting. Now the last one is the protocol, right? We're gonna see this one also later on. You see, like this one already is off, so the protocol also definitely is gonna be off. There is up, the protocol is up, right? So guys, let me try first. Stop sharing, right? We are dealing with what? Show command. And the show command that we're talking about today is show IP interface brief, right? This command will allow us to check the status of the device. The device, is it working? My router is working. My switch, is it working? Right? But not only that one. You can try also to understand if IP are given to some of the ports, right? So this particular comment will allow you to monitor the device, right? Will allow you to monitor the status of the device. So now, when you type show IP interface brief, you need to remember that we do have 6 columns. The first one is the column, uh, the, the interface name, the port name. Remember, your switch, your router will have so many ports plugged to it, right? So you go to the server room, there is a switch there. There are routers, switches. How will you know the name of those ports? You just type, you cannot be reading. So you take a router physically or a switch physically, you are trying to read. No, there is a command for it. So just type show IP interface brief. You will know first column, the interface name. You will know like, we do have 20 ports or 20 interfaces. Those are their names. There is the first Ethernet 0/1, first Ethernet 0/2. You will know already like, those are the port, right? The port names. The column number 2 is IP addresses. Now you are trying to understand what are the IP addresses given to those ports? What are the unique number given to those ports, right? So the second column will tell you that first Ethernet 0/1, port 1 has this number as an IP address. And remember guys, when you will be writing your international exam, there are so many tricky questions. They will ask you, they will give you a scenario, they will give you maybe a lab or a topology, and they will ask you why this computer cannot communicate to this printer, why there is no connectivity, right? Now you will know that, no, let me check, show IP interface brief, right? You can see that maybe there is no IP, maybe there is a wrong IP given to that port. This is troubleshooting, guys, right? But not only that one, sometimes they can just give you an output, the output of the show IP interface brief. Now they're asking you to interpret that, right? So you need to understand that show IP interface comes with 6 columns. The first one is the port name or interface name. The second one is the IP addresses given to those ports. But if it's showing unassigned, means there is no IP given, right? And we spoke about the third column, this one, right? We spoke about the third column. And the third column, guys, we spoke about it's the OK column. That one shows you if the device is faulty or not, if the device works or not, right? So it's gonna show yes, yes, yes or not, right? So if the port also, like each port works, right? Now the fourth column, guys, this is the method. How each port received an IP address, how each port received a unique number. Is it manually somebody that typed it, or is it automatically? If it's manually, you're gonna see it's gonna show manual. But if it's automatically, you're gonna see sometimes it's gonna show DHCP or dynamic or automatic. Means that you for troubleshooting, you will know already, there must be a device here that gave IP to this. You understand? This is troubleshooting. This is how you become smart. Right? Now, beside the method column, guys, right? There is the fifth column. Number 5, it's the status, guys. Right? And guys, there are so many tricky questions. When you will be writing your international exams, guys, sometimes they can ask you how this component received an IP address. Or maybe based on this output, how this printer receives an IP address. You know already because now you're smart. You know what to check. You know where to go. You know, like, no, for me to understand how my printer, my phone received an IP address, so I have to go to column number 4, the method, right? Now, after the method, it's column number 5. This is the status. This is the physical connectivity, guys, right? So if you plugged nothing to some port, okay, let's say port number 1, it's empty, nothing is plugged to it, this status will be down. Status down means that there is no port that is connected to it. There is nothing, there is no computer that is connected to that particular port, right? Or sometimes the cabling, as I said, it's wrong because people sometimes use the wrong cables to connect the computer to the switch or the camera to the switch, right? Maybe it's wrong cabling or there is nothing connected to it, or you did shut it down, right? You put it down by yourself, or maybe the device, the computer by itself is faulty. So the column number 5 status shows you if nothing is plugged, it's gonna show down, or maybe there's a problem with the cabling, or maybe the device itself is faulty, right? Those are the things. This is how you become like an expert, right? One of the device, one of the computer, one of the printer, one of the camera is not connected, right? How are you going to understand that? Or maybe you go to the server room, guys, you'll be working with thousands of switches, right? How will you know what are the ports that are on or down, or up or like up and down, right? No need for you to touch physically the device and try to check at the back what are the ports that are not uh, using, maybe, understand? So you cannot be doing that. There's a comment, there's a show IP interface brief that allows you to understand. So if some of the ports are used or not, right? So, and when it says down, means nothing is plugged to it, or maybe there's a wrong connectivity, wrong cabling, or maybe the device itself is faulty and so on, right? Those are the things you need to understand. And the last one, it's the protocol. When it's showing up, uh, like here, we talk about the last one. Let me try to share. How to share again? Yes, at least I can be. Where is my where here? Yeah. So you can see here at the protocol is up, up, up. Why? Because those ports also are up. So now what I'm gonna do for the last time, guys, let's go to our lab here. So I'm gonna add a router here. One of the router here, and I'm gonna do the cabling here, right? You must always plug uh, your switch to a router using a fast port. Like the gigabits, it's fast. It means 1000, right? 1024, right? So we are here, right? So what I'm gonna do, these ports here, we're gonna bring it up. But before bring it up, let's say you want to understand what's going on here, like on the router, right? You wanna check the status. You wanna know the IP addresses and so on. You just go to the router. Okay, CLI. You say no first. Type no. Remember, why are you typing no? Because a router will try to help you. Will try to help you or to assist you when it comes to configurations, right? Just say no. En. Now we're gonna say show IP interface with, right? And those are the 6 columns again, guys, but it's slightly different a little bit because this is a router. You can see the interface names. So you can see that we do have four interfaces here. We have the gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0/0/0/1, 0/0/2, and the VLAN one. So we have three physical ports and one virtual port, right? Very easy. No need for you to go to the server room. You go to the data center. You try now to check at the back of routers, switches. No, show IP interface brief. You will know the ports that are there. So physical port 3. And remember, gigabits means that this port can send and receive by using 1024 bits per second, right? Now the second one, remember, is the IP addresses. We didn't assign anything yet that we're showing this. The OK means the port are working fine. Method, the method is unset because we didn't define any manually or dynamically. We didn't do anything. Status is administratively down, right? So by default, routers ports are off. See, now it's showing like down here, and the protocol definitely will be down. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring one of them up and see again, show IP interface brief, right? The conf interface. So I'm gonna use the shortcuts, right? Or maybe let me just use the entire word, right? Repeat Ethernet 0/0/0. Request enter. Let IP address. Or let's say first I want to give the IP address because we want to check something. No shutdown, right? No shutdown means I'm trying to bring it up. You can see here first it was red. Why is it red? By default, all the ports from a router are always off. That way it's red. Now we are trying to bring it up by saying no shutdown. This is the activation. You press enter twice for the first time and for the second time. By pressing enter, see here guys, you can see here it's showing what? Green. Why? Because we did activate this port, right? Now, after doing the activations, we are going to exit. We exit again. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the same command to check because we know already one of the ports is already up or the interface. Press enter, right? You can see here the status is up. Why is it up? Right? Because of the no shutdown, we used that command. And remember, it shows like something is plugged to it. Those three are down. Why? Because nothing is plugged to it, right? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna assign an IP address to that port. So again, the conf no, let's go to the interface. And I'm gonna use the shortcut. No need for us to type everything. I'm gonna use a shortcut. IP address, maybe 10.0.0.1, subnet mask .0.0.0. You press enter, right? We exit again, enter again. Now we're gonna use show IP, the interface brief again. Yes, you can see here the IP is there, right? Because we assigned it. So very easy stuff, guys. you need to practice, practice, practice. This is how you will get benefit of what you are doing, right? So, guys, thank you very much. This is the end of this particular session, and we are going to carry on with another show comment. We got a list of them, maybe 30 videos, like up to 50 when it comes to CCNP. So, guys, practice, practice. This is how you understand how to troubleshoot. This is how you understand what happened with routers and switches, right? So thank you very much. Remember to contact me wherever you are. We got students from all over the world. Wherever you are, you can contact me and do your training, right? And yes, so for any issue, don't hesitate to contact me. My WhatsApp number is there and my email address. Thank you very much.